Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open Dr. William Davis's book, Undoctored. Now, this is a book that doesn't just question modern medicine. It throws down a serious challenge to how we think about chronic disease. It argues that the real key to our health isn't waiting for us at the pharmacy, but maybe, just maybe, it's already in our kitchens. You know, the book starts with a question that I think a lot of us have probably asked ourselves. Are we just stuck? Trapped in this endless cycle of pills for blood pressure, for cholesterol, for blood sugar, only ever managing the problem instead of actually fixing it? Are we just customers in a system that profits from us being sick? So, what's the big idea here? Well, according to Undoctored, our modern medical system has one giant fundamental flaw. We've become absolutely brilliant at treating the symptoms of a disease, but we've kind of lost our way when it comes to creating real, lasting health. Dr. Davis uses this fantastic analogy to make his point. Think of your body as a car. When that check engine light comes on, what does modern medicine often do? It just cuts the wire to the light. The annoying warning is gone, right? But the engine is still broken. A pill might lower your blood pressure, sure, but did it fix why your blood pressure was high in the first place? The book argues that, way too often, the answer is a big fat no. Okay, so if the whole approach is flawed, then what's the real problem? What's the engine trouble? This is where the book makes its most famous and definitely most controversial claim. Dr. Davis says that a massive number of our modern health problems can be traced back to one single everyday food. And that enemy is modern wheat. Now, let's be super clear. The book argues this is not the same grain our ancestors ate. Not even close. This is modern, genetically hybridized dwarf wheat, what the author literally calls a Frankengrain. He basically frames it as this super carbohydrate that's slowly poisoning us from the inside out. And to really drive this point home, the book makes a pretty shocking claim. It says that 2 slices of so-called healthy whole wheat bread can actually spike your blood sugar more than a candy bar. Think about that for a second. According to the author, this constant roller coaster of high blood sugar and insulin spikes leads directly to inflammation and that dangerous internal fat, the visceral fat around your organs. And that's the stuff linked to diabetes and heart disease. But wait, there's more. It's not just about blood sugar. The author also zeroes in on a protein in this modern wheat called gliadin. And the claim here is that this protein acts almost like an opiate in your brain. It stimulates your appetite and makes you crave more and more wheat. He argues this is why you can't just have one cookie or one slice of pizza. He's framing it as a real food addiction, hardwired by this protein. Okay, we have to hit the brakes here for a second because this is absolutely crucial. These claims about wheat are by far the most controversial part of this book. The scientific research on this is very mixed, and a lot of mainstream dietitians and doctors strongly disagree with this view. What we're doing here is summarizing the book's arguments, not telling you what to do. The bottom line is, always, always, always talk to your doctor before making any big changes to your diet. Seriously. All right, so if we take out the villains that the book identifies, what's next? Well, the whole philosophy of Undoctored is that your body is this incredibly smart system. It has this powerful built-in ability to heal itself. You just have to stop doing the things that are hurting it and, create the right conditions for it to do its job. So how do you do that? The program is built on what it calls 3 pillars of restoration. First, you've got to heal your gut, which we're learning more and more is like our second brain. Second, you need to restore key nutrients that, frankly, most of us are missing. And third, you have to manage your mindset and get a handle on stress, because that has a huge impact on your physical health. Let's take a look at just one example of a nutrient deficiency, vitamin D. The book claims that because we all live indoors and we're kind of scared of the sun, over 80% of the world's population doesn't have enough vitamin D. And this isn't just some vitamin, it's a critical hormone that controls hundreds of things in your body. The author links being deficient in it to everything from a weak immune system to depression. And it's not just vitamin D. The author also calls out magnesium. He calls it the relaxation mineral, and links a lack of it to things like high blood pressure and anxiety. And then there are omega-3s, which are basically fuel for your brain. Not getting enough is connected to inflammation and even memory loss. The whole idea is that just by fixing these common issues, you can take a giant leap toward feeling better. So this all sounds pretty good in theory, right? But how do you actually put it into practice? Well, the book lays out a very clear, step-by-step, 6-week plan that's designed to just hit the reset button on your health. So here's how it breaks down. Week 1 has one job, and one job only. Get rid of all wheat and grain products. No bread, no pasta, no roti. Then in weeks 2 and 3, you expand that to cut out sugars and processed foods, and you start adding in some key supplements, again with your doctor's okay. And finally, weeks 4 through 6 are all about actively healing your gut with things like fermented foods and really paying attention to how you feel. The goal here is a total lifestyle change, not just some quick fix diet. And that brings us to what I think is the real core message of the book. Undoctored isn't just about what you eat, it's about changing your entire mindset. It's about becoming what the author calls a health rebel, someone who questions the standard advice and takes charge of their own health journey. The book really leans into this incredible field of science called epigenetics. The simple way to think about it is this: you are not a prisoner of your genes. The choices you make every single day, what you eat, how you move, how you handle stress, can actually flip certain genetic switches on or off. You have more power than you think. And it all comes down to this one incredible quote from the book that just sums it all up perfectly. Your genes load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. You might be predisposed to something, sure, but your daily choices are what ultimately determines the outcome. You're in the driver's seat. So in the end, Undoctored is really a declaration of what the author calls health freedom. It's a roadmap suggesting that you have the power to take back control. And the final question it leaves you with isn't about if you can do it, but when will you decide to start?